Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to my channel. This is Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very, very much. This is your Monday forecast for Monday the 18th of May. This is a timeless message, so it's intended for the greater collective, for the highest good. So it is available to you whenever you need it or whenever you're seeing it. It's not necessarily particular to the day of May 18th, but for those of you that are my regular viewers that tune in every day, this is your forecast. Something to look at, focus on, be aware of, to help you through the day. So, let's see, ways you can support the channel: book a private reading with me via Facebook, the Facebook business page. You can message me there, payable via PayPal, and you can do it over Facebook Messenger also. It's pretty easy, or like, FaceTime or whatever. You can follow my Instagram at Engelgeist333. You can support me at patreon.com on the Patreon page. Pick a subscription level, you'll get the forecast a day early. What else? Just like, share, comment, subscribe on the videos. I greatly appreciate all of that. So let's see, what do we need to know? We had some interesting cards for the weekly yesterday. We had that moon card as the kickoff. So today, that as the underlying energy, it'll be interesting to see what cards come out for today. And we ended with the Hierophant, so it's going to be a pretty, in my feeling, impactful week. Hopefully we're coming out of this week feeling more educated, more stable, more balanced. But we will see. Interesting. What is going on here? We have the Ten of Swords, guys. It's a really interesting imagery. Okay. So, I see, first thing I see is Our Lady of Lords. It's so strange. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys know Our Lady of Lords, or there's the movie The Song of Bernadette, and it's about the Lady of Lords, right, at the Cove in Lourdes, France, where the young girl had seen the witness of the Virgin Mary. And to me, this makes me totally think of that movie. It takes me there. Let me show you up close. Do you see that? It's kind of dark in here because it's really overcast outside. We've been having a lot of rain. But it's, there's this cove there with this person. To me, it appears like Mary, or the vision of Mary. What is going on here? In a swords card, really, deck? And we have this windmill, like thoughts churning, ideas churning. And then this cow's skull, which to me sort of feels like it could be stubbornness in a way. Heavy thought, and then I'm surrounded by all of these angels. I might have to read the story on this one, guys. To me, like, this feels like an extremely spiritual card. It almost feels like bringing the mind to the spirit, bringing the mind to the place of spirit. All right, so I need to remember that yesterday's card for the beginning of the week was that moon card. And in that moon card, there was that wave that was sweeping up against the house and kind of rocking the house, or rocking the house by its foundations. The house sort of, the moon being us too, the wave part of us maybe even, but also that house being an aspect of us, or our more material self. Now this Ten of Swords to me feels like swords always deals with the intellect and the mind. So where I'm going with this is that it feels like we might be bringing our mind to the energy of that moon, or vice versa, bringing the energy of that moon to our mind, that intuition, that deeper, darker self, which would also be sort of like some of this bull energy here. Bringing that part of ourselves to sort of the table, and melding the two, bringing them together. Does that make sense? I feel like there's this push from spirit to do so. That would be the angels. And I feel like this is us understanding sort of this whole like Mary thing is to me, it's almost like how do we see ourselves? Like that body in the grotto there to me feels like our deeper soul-centered self, and our mind may be connecting with that in a way that hopefully is beneficial. Hopefully this is not the ego that's like sort of putting up these horns and trying to give resistance, you know, in being stubborn. Some of us might be dealing with that, or um, uh, fighting against that in a way, experiencing that today because of those more intuitive moon energies that are pulling you in different ways underneath this card. So we find we have to sort of solidify our strength or sort of hold our ground, be a little bit more stubborn. That's sort of this, the earthiness of this bull energy that I feel like is going on here. And it's kind of in direct contrast to sort of the spirituality of what we see with these angels, this spinning windmill, which is like sort of ideas, thoughts, energies, who we are, how we fit in the world, all of that stuff sort of swirling around us in the early part of this week. And our intuition is pushing us in a direction that our mind might be sort of running up against or fighting against. For some of you, and I'm going to say it's a smaller portion is my feeling, some of you are actually going to be gaining strength. That would be the positive aspects of this bull, and steadiness. But that's not all of you. A lot of you, I feel like, are going to be, this bull is more about being bullheaded or stubborn, trying to like plant our feet in the ground and fight against some of the stuff that is coming at us. I need a sip of coffee. It's too fucking early in the morning for such a weird card. I mean, I'm being honest. I feel like there might be some things that Spirit is presenting to us that are challenging our brain and our thoughts, our intellect. And I don't mean challenging it like as if we're stupid, but challenging it as if like that doesn't make practical sense, right? That's what it feels like to me. Like this idea of sort of seeing ourselves as maybe divine, spiritually connected, connected to the earth, to our emotions, making ourselves a central focus in the day could be part of this too, being here centralized in this grotto. To me, that sort of feels like we may fight against that knowledge, or that, because underneath this is that moon energy, right? And the moon is always that sort of more subtle, softer, spiritual, darker side sort of answers, showing us things we maybe don't want to see or we don't want to acknowledge. This Ten of Swords to me feels like there's definitely an element of spirit with all of these angels, and then this this figure here in the grotto. To me, this takes me to this place of divinity. And sort of when I take the idea of the Ten of Swords, which tends to always represent completion for me, to me it feels like our ego, our mind, whether we're struggling against these ideas or these impulses from the moon, these intuitions from the moon, it's got our head maybe swirling. It's got ideas sort of fluttering around in our space. Do we do this? Do we do that? And what I mean by being challenged is also like sometimes the spiritual answer might not make logical sense or practical sense. It might seem scary. We might feel intuitively drawn towards doing something that might feel impulsive, might feel reckless. And that's this bull energy, right? To me, this feels like this bull energy is kind of saying, wait a second here. Don't move too quickly, kind of thing. And I feel like there's not a fight here. It doesn't feel like a fight, but it feels like one needs to convince the other, right? It's almost like the bull needs to come to the table. The mental, like logical brain needs to sort of join the spiritual and come to a completion, and then start to allow this sort of windmill of thought to kind of blend the two together to sort of find the answers. But then we also have to physically act on those answers, is the impression that I'm getting from this card. And we're going to have to see how this all feels. That's this body of water in here. You know, how do we feel when we meld the spirit with the sort of the mental mind, right? How does that sort of feel? What is our water like? Is it choppy? Is it tumultuous? Is it smooth? Is it placid? Does it feel unsafe? That's going to be sort of what connects these two things, is what I'm feeling in this card. Or what makes us able to sort of connect them. Lay down our sort of our guard of these sort of horns. These horns actually join this windmill at some point, I feel like. So what we use to sort of, the strengths and vices that we use to sort of protect ourselves through either fear, worry, anxiety, whatever it is that we're mentally using to protect ourselves, at some point we sort of let those go and they become part with this sort of windmill. We let this sort of, what I believe this to be, which is our spirit, drive us. And outside spirit, right? What was the midweek card? I didn't write them down yesterday. It was, what was it? It was the moon. I know it ended with the Hierophant. I can't remember the middle week card. God, I gotta remember to write these things down. What was the midweek card yesterday? I can't remember, guys. I'm trying to remember what we're heading into the midweek to see where this card ties to this. Because to me, this feels like an assimilation, like bringing the two together and offering some semblance of like sort of a completion, an understanding, a sharing of this awareness. There's strength here, but it's like there's also a little bit of a like come to Jesus moment, so to speak. Our own Jesus. Oh, there's the song for this. Okay, Depeche Mode, Personal Jesus. Okay, that's the song for today. I just heard that. So that's the song. I don't know why, but it's Personal Jesus. It's like finding our own God within ourselves. That's this light in the grotto. That's this body in the grotto, is our own spirit. Acknowledging that at a mental level, protecting that, coming to terms with that, and letting the ego sort of bow to that in a way. Letting the ego sort of act as protector, but also not stand in the way of this more hidden self. Allow this hidden self to sort of speak through our thoughts to us, and to listen. To trust those intuitions. That is that moon. If we don't, the house is going to get rocked. This bull is going to like push back, be stubborn, let go, or be dragged. It's that kind of an energy. And the funny thing is with this bull here, it's like we're dragging ourselves. We're hooking ourselves onto our own horns, our own judgments, our own fears. And we're sort of stopping that connection, that flow. Some of us are, not everyone. So this is something to be conscious of for Monday. Let's see what's going on in the mystical shaman cards. I hope these are making sense, guys. I know that some of these cards are a little bit different. Oh, shit. Okay, I kid you not, guys. Do you see that? She is vying for our attention. She is not playing. Alright, so this is card number 37, which boils down to a 1, which is about you, or, you know, your direct self. And like I said, I'm going to go back to this card. I feel like this is the self, or the inner self, right? That's sort of tucked away in this alcove, safe behind the emotions, the spiritual self, the soul, the essence of us at a spiritual level, right? That communes with the spirits around us. I feel like these are our thoughts, or the element of air that's sort of spinning. These are the swords, right? That are sort of spinning. I also feel like this is the sort of more, what do I want to say, practical, logical, earth-based version of our mind and ourself. There's a lot of strength here. It's a beautiful, you know, strong bull. Taurian energy, I wouldn't say it necessarily represents Taurus, but to me it represents that strength, that steadiness, that logic, trying to keep things sort of maintained, protected, and safe. We need to get all of these components sort of working together. The bull, the water, the spirit in the alcove, right? Bringing them together to this state of completion and sort of acknowledging spirit, inviting the spirit in, and then allowing those thoughts to swirl, allowing those ideas to come to us, allowing those inspirations to come to us. Right? We have this new moon in coming on Friday. Right? I don't know. I believe the moon's in Aries right now. I think the new moon's in Gemini, which is going to be all about air sign thinking come Friday. And it's a new moon, so that could also be sort of the blending of these two energies, or the prepping and blending of these energies. So we have the moon here. This is the more feminine aspect. I would say this is definitely the more masculine, you know, the bull by the horns kind of idea. We have this feminine aspect of this woman here with this beautiful dress and all of the cycles of the moon circling around her. And to me, it's like we wear, like there's no shame in our darker side. It's almost what I feel like. It's kind of what I felt like with that moon card yesterday, is that the moon challenges us to sort of embrace our more intuitive, more subtle, more feminine, more hidden selves, our more shadow sides, the parts of ourselves that we maybe don't want to address right now. This would be an opportune time to address them, to sit with them, to acknowledge them, to wear them, like how she's wearing them on her dress. It's interesting to me too, she looks like this dress is sort of similar to a mountain, and this mountain is here, right? They're almost similar in color. Do you guys see that? And then we have this soul like hidden in the mountain. Like, is this soul, is the spirit of who we are hidden within our moonside selves? Is there a part of ourselves that we're not sort of acknowledging, that we need to sort of bring forth and allow it to shine light onto our path through the darkness? Does that make sense? Oh my god, I'm sorry I sound so like, that's kind of what I'm getting from this. Oh my god, what if the cat, I'm gonna kill those cats. Let me read the moon to you and then I'm gonna go murder my cats. 37. I don't know what they just knocked over. I'm gonna kill them. They had a plastic bag under the bed this morning. I don't know where they got it from. They were playing with it, like they thought that was the thing to play with at 6 in the morning to wake daddy up. Alright, the moon, the essence. Every 28 days, the moon manifests a steady progression from darkness to light and then back again. The phenomenon in our skies has a powerful impact on our human psyches. It offers us the certainty that after periods of emptiness and darkness, there is light waiting so that we can be reborn into a new phase. This calls to mind a native African prayer to the moon. May our lives be renewed as yours is. The moon also has a strong influence on the ebb and flow of the waters of the earth. This same power in turn affects human feelings and emotions and mirrors their rising from or hiding back into the unconscious. So to me, just after reading that, I'm not going to read any further for a moment, I just want to say, like, what is it that we're sort of holding back? What is it we're keeping contained through our own strength of our pull? Right? What are we not allowing to pour forth? Because I feel like this spirit here is asking this Ten of Swords to sort of allow this to flow forward. This moon is definitely like asking that too. The invitation. The moon spends equal time in the dark as it does in the light of the sun, and now it comes to remind you of this balance. Have you been too focused on outer achievements, productivity, or social engagements? Or have you spent too much time hidden from the outer world, not wanting to interact or show your face? Meditate on the significance of the moon's cycle and let it gently guide you to your bottomless depths. Head back to the world of outer expression and connection with others. Let it help you make time for yourself, your feelings, and your essential human and spiritual needs. The medicine. This card calls you to go on a journey of renewal, just like the moon does every month, so you can get unstuck, whether from a specific situation or life in general. For this, you need to make time to be with yourself without the distractions of modern society, and have the courage to look at the unwanted or unembraced parts of your being until you arrive at a place of resolution. Shamanic lore explains that the finest treasures of humanity are hidden where people are most afraid to go. And I love this because she's wearing this gorgeous dress of the moon. She's like adopted her cycle. She's adopted who she is. She wears it proudly. Like this mountain becomes almost her treasure, right? Or her finery. I'm hoping this makes sense, guys. I mean, I know that these are sort of strangely deep cards, but that's kind of where we're going for May. This is on Tiger's Eye, the grounding stone for the day, this word is generosity. So be generous with ourselves, be generous with our minds, be generous with our hearts, be generous with our sort of moon-sided selves or our darker natures. Give ourselves a wide berth for healing, for acceptance of ourselves, right? Give ourselves, like, this generosity is this idea of giving ourselves as much as we would want to give to others. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Remember that the underpinning stone for this entire week is this stone of happiness. So where can we be happiest? Where can we find that happiness? Where can we be generous with ourselves in our lives so that we can do this work, so that we can delve deep into our deeper self and explore the cycles of our moon self, right? Finding those treasures that are hidden deep within in places that we maybe don't feel as though we want to look, in the tragedies or the embarrassments or the shames of our lifetime. It's time to sort of release those. I mean, we're in all of this period of self-reflection and pandemic, craziness. Now is the time to be doing this work while we're sitting idle. Getting to know ourselves better, appreciating ourselves more, being more generous with ourselves, and seeking out our own, what makes us happiest at the most simple and purest of levels. Setting aside all of the other bullshit. Where do we find that? Not only like emotionally, spiritually, but also mentally. Because if we find it in those areas, then it starts to manifest physically. And our life becomes more whole and better. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That is your forecast for the day, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about this forecast, if it makes sense, or if you guys have any interesting experiences between your mind and your spirit and your emotions today. The moon is definitely wanting to be acknowledged in these cards. So keep that in mind moving forward today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day. I love you. Bye-bye.